My next guest is Noah Rack, currently a member of the new team, the MLL, the Connecticut Hammerheads, as well as an assistant coach at UMASS Amherst. How you doing, Noah? Glad to have you on.
Good. Glad to be here.
Awesome. So just to get right into things, can you tell me a little bit about your history with lacrosse? Like how do you start playing and kind of where has that taken you in life?
So I started when I was pretty young. I think it was like the third grade. Me and my brother were playing in the backyard. He was more into it, like my older brother. And I remember I actually like quit my first year because my helmet didn't fit. Ended up like playing baseball, and then I was like, no, I got to play lacrosse. Like baseball sucks or whatever. And then I ended up just like going from there. Like kind of not when I was younger, I wasn't all into it. I was just kind of playing for fun, But and then that was the history. Yeah.
Awesome. So then started high school at just the public high school in your town, then ended up transferring to the Canterbury school sophomore year. What made that happen?
So my public high school was not that good at lacrosse, I'll say. But I wanted to play college football. So my freshman year, I had like a pretty good year. My sophomore year, I ended up getting a concussion. And then I also broke my collarbone during the lacrosse season. So I like lost this whole year of athletics. And then my brother was at prep school. So I was like, all right, I'm going to try and go to prep school with him. Ended up not being able to like financially go to the one he was at. So I went to Canterbury, and then I repeated my year, and it ended up being awesome. And when I got there, it was actually like a whole new level change. So like at NFA, I was starting O-mid and Faceoff. Then I go there, and they're like, all right, you're not good enough to play O-mid. You're just going to be a FOGO. But I always wanted to play O-mid, so I just kind of kept working, and then ended up working out.
For those who don't know, Noah Rack is a very, very accomplished Faceoff guy. We'll get to that, played at UMass Amherst as well as currently coaches there, is the career leader in wins and ground balls, both UMass records over there, and many all-team accolades, senior year, all-CAA first team, and all-region. But how did that kind of Faceoff prowess start? Were you always a Faceoff guy? Were you drawn to it? Or was it, I guess, from football, the physicality is very similar?
Yeah, I remember the first face-offs I started taking, my coach just like, when we were in youth, would just throw us into positions, right? Be like, all right, you're playing goalie this game, you're playing face-off, whatever. So he just threw me out on face-offs, and I ended up just being like a bigger kid. And face-offs when you're young is more just like, it's not really as technical, especially back in the day. It was just like a ground
push
ball.
into each other and
exactly.
Push each other out of the way, yeah.
The size of everyone, I would just kind of bowl them over, pick it up. So then I thought I was pretty good at it. So I started just kind of pursuing that because you tend to get drawn to what you're good at.
Absolutely.
Like that.
And then obviously you must have got a little bit better at Canterbury. Your stats were crazy. Finished high school at 76% and also garnered the 2014 Lacrosse All-American status, as well as a Western New England championship in the year prior. How did that happen? How did those feel? Obviously, a championship at any level is an accolade to talk about.
Yeah, it was awesome. I'd say we actually had two back-to-back, junior and senior.
I'm sorry. So 2014 and 2000.
Just call it out. But I remember, like, obviously you want to win a championship. That's always the goal. That's like why, like, I want to win. But I remember, like, coming in sophomore year at Canterbury, and we had a good team. I was just facing off. We had unbelievable players, like kids going all levels of college, D1, D3. And we just got beat by Millbrook in the finals. And then after that year, I remember just putting in all this work. I was like, I'm not losing again. That was it. And that's all it took. Like, I was just like, no one's going to outwork me, kind of. And it ended up just like, we had a good team coming back too. I think a lot of other guys kind of did what they needed to do, but when every face-off didn't hurt,
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And then after that amazing career at Canterbury, led you to UMass. Can you talk a little bit about your recruiting experience personally that got you to UMass?
Yeah, so I had it, like, I always felt like I was pretty good, I played in D2 lacrosse, so kind of little overlooked, I'd say. So I didn't get recruited until going into my senior year, which is much later than everyone else pretty much in D1, I'd say. So I remember I had a good amount of D3 offers, but I wanted to kind of play at the next level. My brother was at Wesleyan at the time, so I really actually wanted to go to Wesleyan, but he ended up not staying at Wesleyan. So then I was like, I don't know what I want to do.
Mm.
Because like what I was saying is like when I was a kid, it was all about like trying to play with my brother. He went to prep school. I tried to play with my brother. He went, so I was always trying to play with him kind of. But then it ended up like I had to go kind of make my own path. So I remember I emailed every college school in the whole country at Division I. Every single one. I sent them my highlight tape and my senior, like going into senior year kind of schedule or whatever the recruiting clinics or whatever they had going
Absolutely.
on. A ton of them. And I remember most coaches were like, sorry, we're fully recruited. Sorry, we're fully committed. Whatever. Sorry, like we can't even look at you. We don't have any money. We don't have a spot. We don't have anything, right? So all this. And then I got probably, I don't know, a bunch of the lower level, like not like, but like people who weren't fully committed in the D1, like not top 20, which I wanted to try and go to the best school I could play at. They had a couple spots. So I checked out a few schools. But I remember UMass emailing me back. They're like, so we have a full class, but we want to take a look at you. We're really interested. We want to give you an opportunity. So coach saw me play. I dominated at this prep school showcase. I think he got me at a good time too, but which is sometimes what it's about too, the right time, getting seen. And then I kind of visited the school, just fell in love with it. Coach Cannella is unbelievable. It's like a father figure to me right now, like just like great person. I'd say when like we're getting recruited, that's like the main thing is reaching out and then finding someone you connect with, finding a group of coaches you connect with. A lot of people say the school, like you want to find a school you like, but you spend most of your life with these coaches, like at D1 at least. So you want to find a good coach.
Absolutely.
So
100% agree.
That really was like, they really didn't offer me really any money. Like they were just saying like, you have an opportunity. So I took that opportunity.
Awesome. And then, so was that almost like a recruited walk-on type deal, or?
I had a very small scholarship, like a couple grand, which at a $40,000 out of state school, really isn't a scholarship. It's kind of a walk-on, he basically gave me a spot, but like he didn't have any money because I was a late recruit. So I understood that. So I just, had to take what I had.
Absolutely. And then, so UMass Amherst, for what you're a 4-year player, obviously the numbers, you could have been anywhere based on the amount of face-offs people take at a D1 level. Were you playing all 4 years, how'd that kind of work out?
My freshman year, I came in, I definitely played all 4 years, but I didn't play at the highest level I could have played all 4 years, I'd say. So I definitely changed a lot of things throughout my year in terms of like face-off wise, but like being healthy was the biggest key. So when I was a freshman, I got hurt. When I was a sophomore, I got hurt. When I was a junior, I got hurt. So like every year I got hurt, except for my senior year, which is the year like I kind of had a really good year.
Absolutely.
But I remember I came in and I remember writing on the board, I'm like, I'm going 65% coach, right? First scrimmage, we come out, we get smacked on face-offs. I lose a lot of them. It was actually to Casey Dowd.
Yeah, absolutely.
Casey Dowd ruined my career. Not really, but like he was a senior, I was a freshman. He dominated me, so it was kind of like an eye-opening experience there. But I ended up I didn't start the first game, but I went 1 for 6 my first game, 1 assist. So
that's not a lot of face-off guys have that.
Down, like I can play, but I'm getting beat on most of these face-offs. But yeah, it was a long. The biggest thing too was ground balls at that level.
100%.
Looking clamps, I remember, and then this kid would just come get the ball from me. I was like, all right, it's a whole new level, whole new game. But yeah,
definitely. Is there one or two things that kind of just will always stay in your mind from either the college experience at UMass or a lacrosse memory at UMass?
I get chills thinking about it, but we really struggled at UMass for a good amount of time while I was there. And then being able to kind of come together and build up to my senior year, winning a CAA championship and going to the NCAA tournament and everything kind of coming together, all the work we put in like that, like, it was like the greatest thing in my life is what I'll say at this point. Now I would just think about it. Like no matter, like when I look back at my college career, I got no regrets because of that. Like we put it all on the line and got there. It's awesome.
Yeah. The getting to that NCAA tournament is, I think, the goal for any team at any level of the NCAA. And personally, I can't wait to be able to do that again next year with my own team to get that chance. And then
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. After UMass getting picked in the MLL draft, did you think that was kind of like a career path for you? Did like coming out of college, or I guess you were drafted while you're in college, right?
Yeah, I actually had no idea I was going to get drafted. It was
Mm-hmm.
kind of wild. I remember me and my buddy, we have this project due. Our finals due like the next day, and we're pulling an all-nighter trying to do this. Like we did a good amount of the project already, but we had to finish it off.
Mm-hmm.
It's due tomorrow, like afternoon, and that draft was that night, and it was also on my birthday.
Well,
So it was all this stuff coming together, and my parents forgot to wish me a happy birthday until like 2 weeks later because they were so like excited I got drafted, whatever. But I didn't know I was getting drafted. No one like contacted me. So I remember like I'm just doing this project. All of a sudden my phone starts blowing up. They're like, "No, you got drafted," and I was just like, "This is awesome!" Like it's like I always wanted to play in the MLL. Like that's always like someone like if you're a real competitor, you want to play at the highest level, or like
mm-hmm.
you want to go as far as you can go. I think Division I probably is the highest level right now, like in terms of competition. But I still like you want to push the limits. You want to be better. You want to play with all those top guys. So once that happened, I was like, all right, this is like what I want to do. Like I've always wanted to do it, so I decided to kind of just go all in. Like I'm like, no, I'm going to play pro lacrosse as long as I can. I'm trying to be as good as I can, and then doing a lot of face-off coaching as well.
Absolutely. So then that was you get drafted 30th overall, which I believe is the 4th round for the Charlotte Hounds. How was the introduction to professional lacrosse for you, your rookie year?
It was pretty tough, honestly, so I came out of senior year, and then there was like a couple-week break where I wasn't really training and taking care of myself. I was kind of out of shape coming into the season. I still had my abilities, but I just couldn't compete at the level I needed to compete for the amount of time. Because every college game, it was probably at the end of the year, it's 60 degrees out, and you're
Mm-hmm.
taking 25 face-offs if it's like an average game. In the MLL, it's 105 degrees, and you're taking 45 face-offs. So it's like all of a sudden you have to double your kind of production in the same amount of time. It's crazy. So that was a pretty big adjustment for me.
And then after Charlotte, kind of moving to Dallas, is that or New York, right?
Bounced around a little bit. So I went to New York. I played a game there. I went like 55, and then the other guy who was there, so we alternated games to see who would start. He went 60%, had like 2 goals. So they're like, all right, we're going to try and trade this guy. They didn't let me know that right off the bat. So I'm contacting them like, so what's going on? What's going on? And then all of a sudden I get picked up by Chesapeake.
Mm-hmm.
Going into that week, I pulled my hamstring though. So I get put on like player unable to play, which means I can't do anything for like 4 weeks, but no one can steal me, basically. Mm-hmm. No one can pick me up. Like I'm not a free agent. And then after that 4 weeks, Chesapeake's face-off guy was doing really well.
Uh-huh.
So then they traded me to Dallas, who was kind of struggling, and I did pretty well there. And then now we're in CT. Basically, the Dallas team moved to CT. So now
and that is the Connecticut Hammerheads. Is that correct?
Hammerheads, which I'm really excited about. I've always wanted to play in home. Like I'm a local boy, so love Connecticut, so it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, that sounds like an amazing experience. I think everyone wants to be able to play in front of their family and play in front of what they think is their home arena, whether it's I think they're playing at Fairfield, right?
Fairfield, yeah.
Yeah. So that's gonna be an awesome.
It's on the other side of the state, but it's good enough,
Absolutely. So then as well at the same time as you're playing professional lacrosse, you are also coaching face-offs at Faceoff Factory, and then coaching college at Eastern Connecticut, and now currently at UMass. Can you talk a little bit about how kind of coaching has been, I guess, now a second aspect of your professional career?
Yeah, I kind of just love lacrosse is what I'd say. So like, I just want to get as much knowledge of the sport. So I was working, my first year out, I was also doing I was working locally. So I chose a local college to coach at. So I helped out Eastern. Which was a good experience. We were a little undernumbered. I definitely helped out their face-off guys a little bit. But after that, I kind of wanted to see, test the waters, go to UMass, see if I can go at a higher level. Coach Cannell actually reached out to me because their face-off coach got another good job. So they were looking for a volunteer. So I kind of took that opportunity, which definitely is helping expand my knowledge of the game, which is always good. But yeah, I kind of just like submerging myself in lacrosse, because I probably have 10 years left in my athletic career. If I'm, I stay in shape, take care of myself. So I'm kind of trying to stay like in the game as deep as I can while I can, until I find that next step in my life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How does playing at UMass differ from coaching? Because not a lot of people get the opportunity to kind of have the two sides of life at the same place.
The difference is like, so it's almost like the preparation is the same. Like I'm still like, we're preparing, but on game day, you have no control. That's the difference. So like on game day, when I could be like, all right, we're down, I have to make a play, I have to win this face-off. It's like, no, this guy that I coached has to make that play, and I have to trust that I trained him well enough to make that play, and he has the knowledge to make that play. And it's you understand the game so much better, because you see other people doing things you used to do, and you didn't understand you were doing them. So then it's all of a sudden like an eye-opening experience. Like, oh my gosh, I used to, every time I picked up the ball, I would hang my head. Now this kid's doing it, I can blatantly see it, that type of thing. So it's pretty, I don't know, I think it's pretty special too when you see someone that you like coach, that you like train them to perform at a high level, to go out on that day and like dominate. Like that's awesome to see.
Absolutely. And you're doing the same thing at Faceoff Factory, where that we met originally. And how has that kind of been a part of your life? And how can you talk a little bit about your experience kind of coaching with all those guys and training with Joe and Max as well?
Yeah. Well, I mean, training with those guys is awesome. It's a whole new level too. Like I take face-offs with all these other guys, and it's like good battles. I win a lot. And then these guys, I'm like, I got to be on my game every face-off to win. So that's awesome. But in terms of coaching, it's kind of crazy how you can see all these kids who are so bought into one craft, just kind of like I was, who are willing to put in the work. They just want to know what they have to do. And that's always great to see, like someone who really wants it. They just don't know where they want to go. And when I was growing up, I had no face-off instruction. Like it was like it was my soccer coach who coached me in youth lacrosse. So he didn't even know how to play. He was probably looking stuff up or whatever. So I think that if I had this coaching at a young level, I would be even like better than I am now. That makes sense. I don't know if that's true, but I'm hoping, like, I think Faceoff Factory does a great job of getting people to their full potential. And like, that's something like I like seeing as like a teacher, kind of like you coach them, they do this, and then all of a sudden they perform. It's like unbelievable to see.
Absolutely. I know that specifically kind of going into guys and coaching alongside, seeing those guys that go to your sessions in Connecticut, seeing the differences. Like I forget the kid, but the kid with the really long hair that plays in Connecticut, he, in the time that you've coached him, and I can tell how much better he's gotten. And I bet as a coach that really, really works with him a lot, you can really tell like how much better he's gotten. I bet that feels awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. So he is like, so I don't even take credit on the coaching. He's putting the work beyond, like he goes to 3 Faceoff Factory sessions a week. He takes reps. He does reps on his own. Like when I'm free, he's hitting me up like, yo, you want to take reps? Can we get reps? Like all this type of stuff. So it is awesome to see that I could help him, but he really wouldn't be there without himself too. But
absolutely, that's the person that drives, not the coach can help and help along to the full potential, like you were saying. So, kind of a question that I've been asking some people. Lacrosse is being told as the sport of the future, and it's always been saying, oh, lacrosse is continually growing. It's the fastest growing sport in America. But right now on the professional level, or I guess on the viewership level, you have college lacrosse, which I think right now is kind of the top dog in terms of popularity, in terms of what people want to see, what people want to hear about. And then also the MLL and PLL. Where do you kind of see the future of lacrosse going in kind of that realm?
So it's tough because college is so established already. And that's the reason. So you'd have to get to a point where like you have an established league that's kind of controlling everything. I think that there's only going to end up being one league. I don't know how it's going to work, merge, buyout, whatever. One just fails, whatever works. But at some point, there's probably going to be one league. And I think it's still growing, like the sport's growing. I think it's kind of awesome that the PL happened because like in terms of just 2 people now pumping out information for people, like just growing the game. if we could just grow the game, that's the key right now. Like growth, like so I think in terms of the new league, like everyone's still marketing, so now we have 2 different leagues doing everything they can to try and grow the game. So
Absolutely. And competition fuels success on both sides of things. I think that this will help both sides kind of do publicly like better things. Like I definitely think that's a possibility that if there's only one league, people can get complacent and maybe not be pumping out as much like, hey, like if you wanted to go see the Connecticut Hammerheads play in the MLL season, whenever that happens, maybe they are not doing as good of a job in promoting it. And kind of having competition really helps kind of say, hey, maybe all the youth teams can come and really kind of get that youth thing, which I don't know about yourself. I don't know how the MLL was at that point, but when I was in like 6th grade, I can vividly remember being over the moon about going to a lacrosse game at Harvard Stadium, seeing the Cannons, where like maybe that's not as big of a deal because I kind of wanted to go myself, but kind of having someone else kind of get that experience of seeing the amazing level that the professional lacrosse is. And it's just really seeing kind of the best of the best. Even though college might be more popular, I do think the playing level, like you said, kind of adjusting to that is so much different.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the adjustment's huge. I think the huge thing is like the competition driving each other, which you said, like that's awesome for everything. I remember when I was a kid too, though. I remember my first game, like we did the tournament at Hofstra, and then the what was it? The Lizards were playing. I don't know what they were called. Long Island Lizards were playing right after. Paul Rabel's on their team. He's. I just remember it was something special, right? Like you're a little kid, like these are the freaking coolest people in the world, you know? It's crazy because at that time I thought these people were like larger than life. Like who are these professional players? And then all of a sudden, like I'm just one. Like they're just regular people who happen to put in a lot of effort into being really good at something. That was a sport that people watch, but.
Absolutely. I guess in closing, is there, besides the amazing, obviously, experience of the CAA tournament and winning that senior year and then going to the NCAA tournament, is there another kind of memory that really kind of just sticks that you might want to share from lacrosse or just from life in the time span we've talked about?
Yeah, there's just so like sports in general are all about the memories, you know, it's all about like the camaraderie, everyone coming together, you know? So, I mean, I don't have any specific moments that I can like, I just remember one, like just going back to my senior year, I remember we were 1-4, right? And this is more about like coming together as like a family, right? So we all met, everyone, like it was probably 75% of the team came to our house and we were like, what the fuck? Or I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, sorry.
You're fine.
And then it's like, what are we doing? Like we put all this effort in and we're 1-4. Like that's it. And then all of a sudden, like, just like how, I don't know how it happened. You could see like every day there was a purpose to everything we did, you know, and just coming together. Gives me chills, but that's really it. Trying to think high school was awesome too. You know, I don't think you can beat like, everyone wants to play in college, but don't like, I think high school was the best, like in terms of fun. Like I had so much fun, like just pure fun, like not winning fun, but just like hanging out with my friends. Like it's just relaxed, you know, D1's all about winning, you know, you want to win, that's it. But you know, high school is so much like, so you got to cherish that. I think that's a big thing that you got to understand. The younger levels are way more fun.
Absolutely.
I'm still having a blast. I don't want to undertake. Like I love playing in the pro. I love playing D1, but it's just it's like high school football.
100%. You know? Yeah. There's nothing like it, but you can't really compare the two. They're very different and they're good in their own realm. Thank you very much, Noah, for coming on. And where can people follow you on social media?
It's Instagram, noah.rack. So R-A-K. NOAH.RAK.
Awesome. And make sure you guys follow Noah on Instagram. And thank you very much, Noah. And looking forward to seeing you after this whole quarantine thing kind of goes down.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.